All right, I'm going to start by doing a single test audio 1 2 3. Be right back. All right. Be all welcome to this the third workshop in the NBA playoff prediction market hackathon. So, um, yeah, I'm really happy to be back here in this, as I said, third installment of our five episode series. And today we're going to be running a strategy, which is basically the first time that I'm presenting in having you follow up in running a strategy, even though we have published them when we have seen it working in the past, right? Okay, so in the last episode, we basically went over how to set up, how to install the Canon into your AI agent, right? And we face a small roadblock there, the fact that it was not able to run, even though the installation process fully run. We were not able to run it live. It was a small bug, and it was actually fixed and pushed a couple minutes after the workshop. So it should be up and running right now. And as I said, we're constantly making updates. So almost every single day we're going to have an update to the application, adding new stuff or fixing small bugs and um, quality of life improvements. So yeah, all right. So a bit about what we are going to be going over exactly is first we're going to go back, check the environment. Then we're going to talk about a bit about the process, how the process of creating the first strategy goes, and we're going to see it working in the Canon terminal user interface. And um, let's see, and that should be most of the workshop, right? Because we're now focused hands on. And also, just recapping on our last workshop, we also went over the kinds or the topics that we have for the strategy. And the kind of strategies are, as I said, there's a list of 18 variables or 18 categories of strategies for prediction market. And yeah, not everything is easy to make into an automation, but there are a lot of strategies that we can work into automation, and all of that content is available. It is published in public Google Drive. Okay, so allow me 1 sec, and we're going to get started with the hands-on for the build of the first strategy. All right. So first, just prior we go to the execution, um, let me present you some information in regard of what is going to be created, right? It's going to be like a three-layer um, process, right? In the strategy itself, of course, depending on the variation that is going to extend each of these layers, right? Data can be a single call from a single source, or it can also be multiple calls to different providers. Similar with logic, you know, it can be a single or easy formula, or it can be a complex operation comparison analysis of what is needed before making the decision, right? And finally, execution is about even if you have the data, you have the logic, and it's going to to be approved under your conditions for the threshold. You still need to, of course, run the placing of the order, and that's going to impact the sizing, and also the the risk gate is going to be involved at that time of execution, right? Because if you have a different configuration, that is going to affect how you execute the orders, right? It can be also, even if an order can pass, depending on the risk factor, or it can affect the sizing, right? So you are not going to be making every order is not going to be exactly the same or for the same sizing, depending on the characteristic of it. So these are like the three layers that are going to be um, composing how your strategy interacts. And yeah, just want to add the statement that this is going to be running in dry mode. So as of right now, no orders are going to be placed. Is the automation of the strategy. It's going to be running. It's going to be capturing real data, and it's going to be outputting real decisions. But as of right now, it's not going to be placing orders, right? So depending on the strategy, we might need to do some extra configuration, like if we have any external oracles or API we need to communicate, and that of course involves the access to the request, right? That would be like, for example, having an API key for a given provider. And in regards of the Polymarket, if we're running dry mode, that means we're not placing orders, so we can also run even without having an account there yet, just to get going with Canon. And yeah, all of these processes constantly being reviewed and tested. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so as I said, similar to what we have on the strategy categories, right? Just a single reminder here that yeah, there are multiple categories that we can speak from in order to design our strategy, right? In today's demo, we're going to be going with pure arbitrage, which is basically making a math calculations in between the the probabilities of the outcome, right? And if that is under a certain value, the summary of it is under a certain value, then arbitrage can be executed there. And yeah, there are other categories, right? For example, the demo that was the NBA momentum has a different one. That is not pure arbitrage. That is about the speed of the data being updated. So at that point, you need an API from, for example, we were using the odds for sports, and that was going to compare live data from a centralized location, like the information coming from sports, right? Live television, live games, and then that is being compared against the market price. So if you have the ability to read the information fast enough, you can take that opportunity there. Okay, and as I said, there are going to be many templates where we are going to be working today with the pure arbitrage one. Okay, yeah, as I said, it is going to be binary arbitrage. So basically, the yes probability plus the no probability in the prediction market has to be under certain value threshold in order to consider it a valid opportunity, and that is the strategy itself, and is mostly based on math, right? Of course, you still depend on latency and some other stuff because the information is coming from the market, but yeah, it's not involved into the strategy itself. That is just part of the process. So the strategy itself is mainly math, right? So um, yeah, let's keep going, and we're going to be running a single command once again, similar to the installation process. The installation process we did um, a single command on the agent, right? So we tell it or instructed it to install um, Canon, and it did um, install the requirements and then install Canon for us. So this time we're going to be doing something similar, and we're going to be getting feedback from the in order how to proceed. But inside of the single command, this is going to be I mean, it's going to be like a flow, and we can see that described here. So the first phase is to init. This is creating the basic requirements, or the agentic section of the strategy, right? Which is going to fetch agents, skill commands. That is like a that is a previously to the code base. This is the agentic part of the command, right? Then it's going to do the base of the project, um, which is coming from a template, right? So it's not going to be creating it from scratch. It's not going to be wasting tokens on creating the base, or the dry section of it, the part that we are going to be needing no matter what. That is not going to be wasting token, because we can simply get it from an existing um, pre-configured um, setup, right? From there, it's going to move into phase three, which is actually the strategy, and at that time, it's going to need user input in order to select one, and from there, it's going to move for development, which is the specifics or the unique section of each strategy in every new automation that we build, right? So even if I build the same, even if I follow the same command and I do the same selection for the category of the strategy, is this section of the phase four's development is going to be built in the moment, because it does use the input that we um, gave in the phase three for the strategy selection. And finally, it goes into run, which basically launches the scanner. It's going to be in dry mode. You will need to switch it to real mode in order for it to take actions, and that's going to be coming in the upcoming workshops, right? Because we want to go and see the scanner reading data, checking if we get flags um, for activity or for opportunities, and then we can get ready to have it run live and take action in the prediction markets. Okay, so now let me have a quick water break, and then we're going, as I said, hands on for the strategy. All right, so now we're going into the execution. You can see we have an empty folder. This is a new folder that we're going to be running the automation at. So let's start by, as I said, we have a single command to create the automation, but first we need to init, and we're going to do that by um, running Claude. I have a shorthand for bypass permission, so this is all that we're doing. It's different because I have the bypass permission attached to the alias, so I can run it faster, right? We have a clean a clean folder. Once again, let me come back here. We have a clean folder. Yep, and we can also see the Canon version. This is the last step we were able to manage on our installation. So we have it ready, and now let's do the initialization. So for this, we're going to run Canon init. This is going to be available inside your agent as soon as you make the installation. So you have some other some other commands that we added, but Canon init is the one that we're looking for right now. So what this is doing is actually going and, as I said, getting the agentic section ultra lower level configuration, and then we're going to see the actually start building the automation. All right. So now after the init is run, it does create a couple files for us, and it gives us the instructions. So we have to exit this Claude, and we have to run the Canon script that is going to initialize everything for us. So at this time we can do exit just to have a clean view. We can now see what was done, and we have a couple folders and a couple files. So that was the initialization layer. Now we were instructed to run Canon, so we do it, and here we are. This is, as I said, this was not visible on our last attempt on the previous workshop. It was fixed right after the workshop, and it was pushed, so it is ready if you run the installation right now. Okay, let me go check the stream just in case. 1 second. All right, just checking there. So yeah, we have the Canon user interface here open, and we can continue then. Um, Now let's run the. Okay, first we can also ask the agent, right? Because the agent does have control of the interface. Show me the project state so that way we can see it working and changing the state after when we request the initialization process. So we accept the conditions, the permission that we need to provide to the agent. This is only one time, and from there it should be able to control without having to constantly assign permissions. All right, so we can see the state here is init, and right now it is in idle, and there is no data flow because we don't have an automation yet, and there is um, a log stating that we're waiting for the Canon start. So now we can do Canon start here, and this is like running the actual build, right? Previous one was the init of the of the of the project, and now we're building the automation. So we can see logs, for example, it is starting to work on the base. Now we can see all of the base files that we have here, and from there is going to do vetting of agent domains, skills, commands. It's going to verify the files. It's going to run some um, baseline tests, so we know the base project is working before getting into automation, and it's also doing like all of the complex stuff you don't need to worry about. It's initializing the commit, which is um, a requirement to be able to push this or or share this via GitHub, which is for team integration, right? So you don't, if you are going to run it locally, you can simply run it by yourself. But just in case you want to share it, you want to collaborate with someone else, this is doing even the base configuration for that. And then you can go, of course, with the agent and complete the process in case you want to share it, right? Then we have Canon initialized. Now we're going to um, look for a strategy, and at that time we have information from the agent here. It's requesting our selection of a strategy. So once again, this time we are running this in some isolated way because, as I said, we're doing many changes in this is the best way to have it running. We don't have right now in this instance the option, for example, for the NBA moment, but we have the one that we're going to be testing out today, which is the binary option from the pure arbitration category. Um, so it's requesting us what we want to use. Let's go with the arbitration binary. So we are right now picking what it is, um, what is the category for our strategy, right? So let's go ahead. And all of the time, the agent is constantly updating the state and the process here, so we know what's going on, right? So right now we have a strategy, and the strategy is running the strategy section here, and we already have a flow here, which is a basic representation of how this strategy is going to work, right? Um, we can see a very small error here, but as I said, this is the advantage of having the agent. The agent is going to check what is going on and fix it, right? um, and we have run this multiple times, and as I said, it behaves slightly different on depending on the occasion and what is the input that you're providing, but the agent is assisting the construction of the prediction strategy. All right, so now we are in develop phase, and we have the phase is running, right? So let's oops, now we have it working. Nice. Now we're in the run phase and it is executing. So if we go back to the logs, we were selecting the strategy here, then it did development, build the strategy, all check pass. Then it launched a strategy runner. We're working in drive mode. We can see it in the log. We can see it in the state down below here. In um, and yeah, we get some feedback like the process ID and what scanner are we running right now and how much it's going to take every cycle of the scanner, right? So at this time, this is going for MBA markets available right now, and it is scanning the probabilities for the outcomes, and if it finds a a gap in between the sum of the probabilities versus a math formula which is one, is going to flag it as an opportunity, right? So yeah, that was the process of building the strategy with the agent. It was very quick, and we can see that it is cycling, and it's going to keep on cycling until we tell it to stop, right? Or it finds opportunities and it's going to flag them. Um, Relevant stuff that we have to mention, as I said, we have not configured yet like our authentication to the market because we're in dry mode right now. And for this specific case, we didn't need anything like API keys from providers or similar, right? So this was a very straightforward build. But even then, even if we need to configure stuff, the agent is going to be um, your best friend along the process of building the strategy, building the automation. Okay, so now let's see what we have. Okay, so that how do we how are we now, right? So what was the project structure? And in the init process, we saw the .canon directory. There we made like the pure structural format, and then the base part of the build um, was the one that fill in all of the information and data for the Canon um, configuration, and also the source of the automation. This was done when we run the start, and it went through the base phase of it, so it generated um, files, right? On the the files that we can see on the left panel of our Canon, and we can see that there are many files, and we can go into, let me have a quick, we can go into the strategies, is the type, the risk, the source, and yeah, basically build what we need to be able to run, right? So now let's go into how the process completed, because I wanted to show you the process before coming here, because now we have the clear image of how it was built, right? So the instruction was the trigger for for the phases, and the agent was in charge of building the automation for you, just getting your desired selection for a strategy, and if there is any other user input required, that's going to be requested from you by the agent, right? And even if you have questions or something, you can resolve it in natural language while talking to the agent. What checks have passed, because we saw the the log here was stating all checks passed. Let me see here. Mhm. Okay, so we have here the verification pass. All files are present, and then the strategy build. All check pass. What was going on there at that time? The the agent is in the process is following a verification first of the files from for the base, but after making the strategy selection and building the actual strategy, we are again right, running the lower level verification. This is TypeScript. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to know that it is making verifications to make sure that your code is clean and running right. Cleaning in the sense of working code, right? And yeah, it's going to request zero type errors, which is once again code that is well structured and is going to run. It's also using the OX lint check. This is for core quality. It's going to keep your code under certain rules, right? So it should not be um, poorly reading code. And also is running some tests. The by test are specific tests for are a specific tests for the code. So we prepare the conditions, we run the test, and since we prepare the conditions, we know the outcome, right? So that is going to make sure that we are um, doing the proper logic, because we have the input and the expected output, right? Okay, and finally, after building and checking, we get into the strategy running, which is the phase that our strategy is right now. We can see it's still in phase run and it is executing. The agent is waiting for our interactions, and we can see many cycles, right? So we have run 16 cycles since we started the automation. That is going to keep on working until we stop it, right? So the strategy is a loop, and is going to be running until we find a signal, or if not, then it's just going to continue scanning, right? And stating to us or logging to us that yeah, there were no age, no opportunity right now. We have some summary in the state. We have the phase, the status, and some other metrics. Those are already present in the interface. We can see the cycle count down here. We can see the error count, signals when we get, um, and some other, right? Um, so let's go back here and one second. So yeah, we have the automation running right now, and yeah, that's what we can expect from the visibility, right? Now some under the hood stuff. The signals are logged to the Canon directory, and it's going to be under the execution. There is a structure JSON file there that is going to store all the all the process, all the log, right? So you can check it. The agent can check it. You can do postmortem stuff checks, like you can go back and see how many um, issues you encounter, how many signals um, did appear right in the time that the automation was running. So all of that is there for the case that you need it or the agent needs to go check stuff even from previous run, as I said, because the state is non-destructive, right? So if you stop it and you run it again, you're not going to lose the previous state. Everything is going to remain there. All right. So what can we expect on our first run? This is just to come back. I know we already run it, but what can happen and what are like common issues, right? So in the what's normal section here, we have, for example, 10 cycles, 0 signal, spreads are tight. This is stating that even though we run it, we have already run over 16 cycles, doesn't mean that you're going to get a signal immediately, right? Because that does depend on real data. This is no demo, no faking information. This is real data, right? And that's when the category of the strategy comes in. Of course, the timing, the market itself, right? Um, yeah, second one for the specific case we did is that most market hover around the 0.99 to 1.01 um, um, value, right? So of course we're watching there in case it slips under certain threshold, we can take the signal, and the automation can flag the signal in case it's running in dry mode, and that the signal is the endpoint, and in case it is without the dry mode, that's going to take action. um, Once again, signals are rare. Depends, of course, also in the configuration, right? If you're taking more risk and you're deciding to take action on the smaller gaps of the opportunity, that is part of the configuration. That is part of the um, personal decision, personal touch that you're going to put into the strategy. Edges appear in low liquidity market. This is some like a technical stuff because yeah, if you have low liquidity, someone might be willing to exit the position accepting a lower price, but that is not a rule, right? That is conditional. From the common issues is we could see errors, right? For example, if you are, because the automation is configurable, right? So depending on the provider, you may have a rate limit, right? In this case, we're using public information, and we're not seeing any error there. And that some other cases, right? If you have a private or custom API that you're requesting, um, you might get rate limit. In that case, you can work with the agent, right? The agent is going to see the issue. You can state the issue, and it can adjust the cycles of execution and the timing for it. Yeah, and some other basic stuff like markets, in case you don't get any market, in case um, you get slippage configurations, and or the runner is just continually exiting, right? So you run it, and it doesn't want to stay to continue looping, right? And there might be like an issue in some part of the process. Is going to be closing the automation at that time. um, you can, once again, the the agent can work into figuring out, because we have the logs and we have the errors that are coming out of the automation, right? In this case, we did not use any external API, and all of the information was from the public record, right? All right, so that was what we had for today's workshop. Um, as a summary, right? We confirmed that the previous workshop process is the legit process and the installation process work. There was an issue on workshop number two. I was fixed immediately after the workshop, and if you follow the installation process, you should be good to go getting the Canon interface up and running, right? From there, we also are we know that we have the content available for the different categories of strategies. So that is a resource that you can go take a look in case you need it. And Canon is going to have access to multiple templates that are going to be based off those categories of strategies, right? In from today's perspective, we run the initialization for the automation directory because we did it on a clean folder, so we can have everything nice and in order, right? From there, we did the Canon start. Canon start followed the phases. Once again, if we go back, let me go back quickly here. We go back. It did the base. It requested information for the strategy. It did develop, and it did run the strategy. Okay, and yeah, then we went through a bit of what was actually done. We can see the files. We can see the configurations. We took note of the um, strategy process and a bit of how it works. All right, and yeah, now what to do now? What to do next? Right? We have another workshop which is going to be customizing the strategy because right now we run it based on the template selection, but it is running, for example, in 30 seconds cycles. What if you wanted to run every 10 seconds? What if you wanted to run longer? You know, if your process is long term, you might not need it to run every 30 seconds. You can run it every hour, right? That depends. It's specific for the strategy and of course for the market. So that kind of configuration we're going to be taking a look at in our upcoming workshop. That is April 21st. And now back to super important dates that we need to keep in mind is May 4th. We have the registration open for the hackathon, right? The registration deadline is going to be all the way up to May 31st. So you have from May 4th to May 31st to register. But the event, the actual participation is from May 4th to June 19th. So at the latest, you can register on May 31st, but the competition um, continues all the way up to June 19th. And the winner is out on June 23rd, right? So as of right now, you can, as I said, bootstrap a initiate, a start, and a strategy build, and yeah, you can see it running. Once again, let's go take a look again at how many cycles we might have from the one that we're running here. We already have 37 cycles so far. No errors, no signals. In yeah, we can okay, just for you to be aware, when you want to close the process, you just tell the agent stop the automation, and it is going to take care of it for you. You don't need to do anything manually. You just request it, and as you can see, we have runner stop. We have the lucky runner stop, 30 cycles. Now the phase is in run because we can start it again. It's just going to start the run. It's not going to do everything from scratch, right? But even if we close the application and we come back with no context and we do kind of start, that is fine. It's going to auto detect that we are in the run phase, and it's going to initiate or run the automation, right? So that is beautiful there. Um, and yeah, so let's see. Okay, what kind of questions we can expect at this time? One sec here. Let me take a water break. Okay. What can we expect at this time is depending on the strategy, we can have a missing API key. We can have scanner errors in case something is out of the ordinary, like a down provider. If a provider has downtime, of course you can see the scanner facing that error. It's going to keep on running, right? It's just that if it doesn't get the information, it might not be able to make the analysis in flag signals. Template choices, as I said, in the every single day we keep updating. So right now we have the um, pure arbitrage 01 strategy from the 18 strategies. Well, we're going to keep on adding templates, and they are coming in fast, right? And yeah, don't worry if you get zero signals. That's the the that's part of the regular process, right? The automation has to be run in order to find one. It's not going to find one in 10 seconds, right? In okay, now what else? What to do? As I said, we have the upcoming workshop. Don't miss out on it. You can also go to our Discord channel. We have a to our Discord server. We have a specific channel for the prediction market hackathon. There you can find all the updates that we are posting in regards to the hackathon, right? And you can also go there if in case you want to participate, you might not have full availability, full knowledge. You can go there, try to communicate, and we're going to help you, assist you in getting into a team, since um, everyone can provide um, improvements or benefit ideas to a team, right? So don't hesitate to go there. Hey, I'm looking for a team, and we're going to assist in getting you set up with a team, right? Um, okay, and yeah, don't forget to go check out the hackathon page. It's linked in the description. We have the Discord channel in the description, and yeah, see you on Tuesday then. Has been a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much.